Hello friends, in this tutorial I will explain you how to design and detail continuous one-way slabs. So in order to design the slabs, first of all we need to calculate the maximum bending moment and shear force at the respective locations of the slab. So formula to calculate the maximum bending moment is given by the coefficients at the respective locations of the slab multiplied by the load W multiplied by the effective length square. And similarly the maximum shear force is given by the coefficients at the respective locations multiplied by the load W multiplied by the effective length. Now to get these coefficients we will use table number 12 and table number 13 of IS 456-2000. I have uploaded a tutorial on how to use these coefficients to calculate the bending moment and shear force in continuous beams. In the similar manner we will calculate the bending moment and shear force for the slabs. You can check the link in the description below. So once we have the bending moment and shear force, we will provide the reinforcement required to resist these values. Now coming to the detailing part of the continuous slabs, in order to resist the positive bending moment, we will provide the reinforcement at the mid span of the slabs. Now these reinforcements which is provided at the bottom of the slab must be extended into the supports to take care of the development length. And in order to resist the negative bending moment at the supports, we will provide alternate bent up bars. These bars can be bent up at a distance of 0.1 L from the face of the simple support and 0.2 L from the center of the continuous support. So the steel which is provided at the bottom parallel to the shorter span of the slab is called as the main steel, while the steel perpendicular to the main steel and provided parallel to the longer span of the slab is called as the distribution steel. Now if in case we cannot provide the bent up bars, then we have another alternative of providing the curtailed bars. So in this the bars can be curtailed at a distance of 0.1 L from the face of the simple support and 0.2 L from the center of the continuous support. Now we will explain the full design procedure with the help of an example. So let's say we want to design a continuous reinforced concrete slab for a hall of dimensions 6.5 meter by 13.5 meter, and the slab is supported on RCC beams which are 240 mm wide and which are monolithically casted to the slab, and the ends of the slab are supported on the walls which are 300 mm wide, and we have to design the slab for a live load of 2 kN per meter square and floor finish of 1.5 kN per meter square, and we have to use M20 grade concrete and Fe415 grade steel. So here we want to design the slab for a hall of length 13.5 meters and width of 6.5 meters, and the slab is supported at the ends by 300 mm thick walls. The slab is divided into 4 panels. The width of the end panels is 3.04 meters, while the width of the interior panels is 3.35 meters. The beams supporting the slabs are 24 meters in thickness, generalized Excel sheet for the design of one-way continuous slabs. So here we want to design the slab of length 13.5 meters and width of 6.5 meters, and this whole slab is divided into 4 panels of length and width as per the following data. So once we have this basic data, we will calculate the design factors. So first factor is the XU max by D, so which is given by the following formula, that is 700 divided by 1100 plus 0.87 into Fy. So putting the value of Fy, which is 415 Newton per mm square, we get the XU max by D ratio as 0.48. Similarly, we will calculate the Q limit and PT limit with the help of following formulas. So once we have the design factors, our next step is to calculate the effective lengths for the end spans and interior spans. So for the end span, the effective length in the shorter direction is given by the clear span in the shorter direction, which is 3.04 meters, and plus average width of supports. So here average width of 0.3 and 0.24. So we get the effective length in the shorter direction as 3.31 meters. Similarly, the effective length in the longer direction, which is nothing but the clear span in the longer direction, and width of the end support, which is 0.3 meters. So we get the longer direction, effective length in the longer direction as 6.8 meters. Similarly, we will calculate the effective length for the interior spans. So once we have the effective length, we will check the ratio of Ly by Lx. So if this ratio is more than or equal to 2, we will design it as a one-way slab. So the next step is to calculate the effective depth required to satisfy the deflection criteria. So the effective depth required for a continuous slabs is equal to the effective length in the shorter direction divided by the 26 into modification factor. Now to get the modification factor, we will assume the percentage of reinforcement as 0.35%. So you get the modification factor as 1.5 from figure 4, page number 38 of IS 456-2000. So once we have the modification factor, we will calculate the effective depth required for the end spans and the interior spans by the following formula. And we will assume the effective depth more than the required depth. So here we have assumed the effective depth of 100 mm, and from that we can calculate the overall depth, which is equal to the effective depth plus clear cover and plus diameter of bar by 2. So here we get the overall depth of the slab as 130 mm. So the next step is to calculate the factored loads. So first is the self weight, which is nothing but the overall depth of the slab multiplied by the unit weight of concrete, which is 25, and I have divided it by 1000 to convert the overall depth from mm to meters. So we get the self weight as 3.25 kN per meter square. And here I have assumed the floor finish as 1.5 kN per meter square and live load as 2 kN per meter square. So we will calculate the total factored load, which is equal to the 1.5 times the total load, and we will calculate the total factored dead loads and live loads separately. So the total factored dead load is given by self weight of the slab plus floor finish multiplied by 1.5, and similarly the total factored live load is equal to total live load multiplied by 1.5, which is factor of safety. So we get the total factored dead loads and live loads. So the next step is to calculate the effective shorter spans. So for the end spans and the interior spans, the effective shorter span is given by the minimum of center to center distance between supports and clear span plus d. So we get the effective length for end spans and interior spans respectively. So our next step is to calculate the bending moment and shear force at the respective locations of the slab. So I have denoted various locations of the slab. So here the A denotes the middle of the end span, B denotes the middle of the interior span, C denotes the support next to end support, D denotes the other interior supports. These tables are taken from table number 12 and 13 of IS 456-2000. So for example, if we want to calculate the bending moment due to dead load, we will use the coefficient of 0.083. So here, let me explain one value. So now we will use VLOOKUP function directly trace the values of the respective coefficients. So here VLOOKUP so it says the lookup value. So we want the lookup value for dead load. So here I have denoted dead load as 1. So here the lookup value will be this cell, comma, table array. So we will select the table. We want the value from this table. So we will select this table, comma, column index number. So we want the coefficient for middle of the end span, that is for A. So for that the column number is 4th column. So here we will type 4, and as we want the exact value, so here we will type 0. So let's check out. So here we got the 0.083 as the coefficient directly from this table. So we will multiply this coefficient's value by the dead load and the effective length square. So here multiplying it by total factor dead load and the effective length for the end span square. So here multiplying it by 3.14 square. So here we got the bending moment as 5.854 kilonewton meter. Similarly, we will calculate the bending moment at respective locations. If you have any doubt, you can download the Excel file from the description below and you can check all the values by selecting the cells. So once we have the bending moments at all the locations, that is A, B, C and D and E, F, G and H, that is shear forces at the respective locations. Now we will calculate the required depth. So for that, first of all we will calculate the maximum bending moment. So here the maximum bending moment, which is maximum of the absolute values of all these. So here the maximum of 8.81, 10.31, 8.28 and 11.03. So here maximum bending moment is 11.035 kilonewton meter. So we will calculate the depth required to resist this maximum bending moment. So here the depth required is equal to square root of maximum bending moment divided by Q limit into B. So we get the depth required as 63.28 mm. Now as we have provided the effective depth of 100 mm, which is more than the required depth, so it is okay. Now we will calculate the area of main reinforcement. So first of all, at the location A, which is nothing but at the location of near the middle of the end span, we will calculate the area of steel required to resist the bending moment of 8.812 kilonewton meter. So the area of steel required is given by the following formula. So we get the area of steel required as 258.001 mm square. So here we have assumed 8 mm dia bars and we will calculate the spacing required. So spacing required is equal to area of 1 bar, which is pi by 4 into dia of bar square divided by area of steel required multiplied by 1000. So we get the spacing required as 194.827 mm. Now this spacing should be this spacing should be less than the maximum spacing, which is given by 3D and 300 mm. So here the spacing should be minimum of the spacing required 3D and 300 mm. So we get the spacing as 194.82. So here we have round down the value to around 190 mm center to center. Similarly, we will find the area of steel required to resist the bending moment at the location B. Now coming to the area of steel required at the support which is next to end support, that is at support C. So now in order to resist this negative bending moment at the support, first of all we will calculate the area of steel available. So here the area of steel available in the form of bent up bars. So here 50% of the bent up bars are coming from the span A and the 50% of the bent up bars are coming from the span B, that is the intermediate span. So here I have divided it by 2 as it is 50% from both the spans. So here the area of steel available is 257.94 mm square in the form of bent up bars. But we want to resist, but the area of steel required is here 305.05 mm square. This is calculated with the help of this same formula, that is 0.5 FCK BD by Fy. So here we need to have an additional area of 305.04 minus 257.94. So we need an additional area of 47.11 mm square. So here I have assumed 8 mm dia and provided the spacing of 900 mm center to center. So here we will provide extra top bars to resist the additional area. Similarly, we will calculate at other interior supports, that is the area available in the form of bent up bars. Then we will calculate the additional area required and we will provide the extra top bars to resist the required area. And for the distribution steel, we will provide minimum area of steel. So for that, let us assume mild steel bars. So for that, the minimum reinforcement required is 0.15% of gross cross-sectional dimensions. So here the AST required is 195 mm square. So here we have provided the distribution steel of 8 mm dia at 250 mm center to center. The slabs are generally safe in shear, but here I have calculated. So here the slab is safe. And this is the typical detailing drawing of what I have discussed in the previous slide. This completes the design of one-way continuous slab. In the next video, I will discuss on the design of two-way slabs, isolated footings, combined footings, sloped footings, doglegs, staircase, etc. in MS Excel. Thank you.